Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to be looking at the timelines for some of the movies that have characters that I think will be showing up in Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I did a video not too long ago about the recommended multiversal watch order in prep for both Deadpool's movie and Secret Wars. And in that video, I went into great detail on the Spider-Man movie timelines and the X-Men movie timelines. And I was immediately asked, what about movies like Daredevil, Fantastic Four, and Punisher? Ergo, this video, right? So I will have to talk at a high level about some of the plot points from the movies, to be able to even discuss the timelines. And that does include what happens to Elektra in the Daredevil movie and the Punisher's family in his movie. But I think most people know about both of those plot elements, just telling you up front. But without further ado, let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we have a May contest running all month long. Be a subscriber, leave a comment. You could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. And we have a membership option in case you want to help me with my goal of doing this full time one day. But honestly, no matter how you support the channel, it's all greatly appreciated. Leaving comments, liking videos, and subscribing, those things go a long way too. So thank you so much. All right, so we're going to start with Daredevil and Elektra's movies, and I'm going to talk about things from both movies and kind of weave them together because the two movies' timelines really weave together. But before I do that, I want to talk about why you might want to watch these movies. So I think that is Elektra's leg. And I think that is Elektra's arm. I think she's wearing her leather outfit from the Daredevil movie, and I think she is going to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's a really good reason to want to check out either the Daredevil movie or the Elektra movie, or maybe both. Also, these are the goons that are helping Cassandra Nova. Well, this one, I think, is Stone, who's one of the villains from Elektra's movie. You can see he's just pretty much a big, strong dude. He gets shot here with buckshot, and it bounces right off him. So different actor, that's clear, but the body type sure looks the same. So that's another reason you might want to check out, in this case, the Elektra movie for the Easter egg of Stone and his appearance in her movie. Okay, so with those things in mind, let's talk about the timeline. So this scene from the Elektra movie is really hard to figure out when it happens. That's young Elektra looking at her mother being killed, who was killed before her very eyes. The problem is they don't tell us how old Elektra is, and we can't even figure out how old the actress in the scene is because I can't find her birthday online. So I'm guessing she's 6, which would put this around 1978 based on Jennifer Garner's age when playing Elektra in her movies. So if you have a better idea for that, let me know. But it is an important scene because in the Daredevil movie, they mention it. I haven't seen her smile like this since before her mother was killed. Poor girl, right in front of her eyes. And of course, that's the Kingpin saying it to Elektra's father. Oh man. A Kingpin is cold in the Daredevil movie. I mean, he is cold. And he's good. He's really good. Okay, then we get a flashback to 1984. And we see a biohazard being accidentally cut open and splashes on Matt Murdock, which of course blinds him, but also gives him his powers. And in the same flashback, we see his father, Jack the Devil Murdock, fighting John Romita, who of course was a famous artist from Marvel Comics. Nice Easter egg there. But Jack Murdock does not throw the fight like he should have. And of course, he's ultimately killed. So those are all in 1984. We kind of know that because we get this line later that says, I've been thinking about this day since I was 12 years old. So we know how old he was in that scene, Daredevil was, but also in the novelization, they mention it happening in the spring of 1984. So yeah, that works really good. So 1984 for those flashbacks. So what about the present day in the movie? Well, we get a scene showing this newspaper, and if we zoom and enhance, we can get Sunday, August 10th, 2003. It's very hard to read, so it's always questionable when you see something that is this small, but nonetheless seems really clear, August 10th, 2003, which there is an August 10th in 2003. The problem is, in the next scene, like not too long after this newspaper, we see a very clear date of Saturday, July 24th. Oof. How can it be suddenly July if, earlier it was in August? Also, this only works in 2004. So, okay, which year are we in now and which month? Well, this is really funny. Look really closely at this invite. You're cordially invited to a black and white ball at the Grand Hotel. In a later scene, he gets, I believe, a second copy of this invite because he throws the first one away, but it has a different date on it. Oof, right? Wednesday, August 13th, which, by the way, does happen to work in 2003 and is actually after Sunday, August 10th. So I actually think they screwed up and had 2 different dates for this invite, which is really, really funny. All right, so then we have Elektra being killed by Bullseye, which again I have to mention because that will happen or be referenced in her movie. But also, does something seem wrong to you here? Look at the weapon, her own weapon that Bullseye is killing her with. It's going straight up and then turns a 45-degree angle. Really? What is going on there? Did it break when he impaled her with it? Come on now, guys. That's funny. That's really funny. Anyway, we end the movie with a date of Sunday, October 16th, 2003, up here in the corner. Ironically, it should say the 17th because remember the other was Sunday the 10th. So I don't know what happened there, but they're pretty consistently putting the movie in August of 2003. Then also we do get a post-credit scene with Bullseye seeming to recover and come back to fight Daredevil. And I only bring that up because, of course, in Netflix, Daredevil Season 3, the same thing happened, right? But let's put it this way. This version of Bullseye ain't coming back, but the one from the Netflix show will be. So anyway, looks like August of 2003 for Daredevil's movie. Okay, how about Elektra? So in Elektra's movie, we get a flashback to right after the Daredevil movie, where she's dead and then brought back to life. Really creepy eyes there. Yikes. All right, then we get another flashback. Then we get something referencing when this might have happened. That woman died years ago, so we know it has to be years plural. So kind of keep that in mind. But then we get another flashback, this time to Stick, who was training her, but then decides it's not working. You got to go. Just go, he says. And she says, I don't have anywhere to go. But nonetheless, he kicks her out. I think this flashback is happening between her resurrection, obviously, and the main part of the movie, but they don't make it clear, when. I suspect not long after. But nonetheless, if you have a better idea, let me know. But I think this is probably a few months after she was resurrected. Then we get to the main part of the movie, which happens very near Christmas. There's some events that happen prior to this, so a little bit earlier in December, but ultimately we land on Christmas Day. Do you know today's Christmas? And we get Christmas decorations, one-horse open sleigh playing, etc. And it seems like the movie wraps up pretty quickly. Maybe we move into January, but I'm just going to stick with December, and I'm going to go with 2005 because that's when the movie came out. It seems odd that they'd be saying it's happening in 2006. And it is years after, right? It's 2 years after. So let me know your thoughts, but I'm going to go with December of 2005. All right, so now we move to the Fantastic Four movies. There's 3 of them. We'll look at all of them. But first, let's talk about why you might want to watch them. So none of the characters from the Fantastic Four movies have been revealed to be in the movie, but that is definitely part of the Fantastic Car, particularly the one that was seen in the comics. Now, there is a Fantastic Car in the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie that looks different, very different, but I think the fact that a version of the Fantastic Car is showing up means maybe we're going to get some of the characters. I would love to see Chris Evans come back as the Human Torch in this movie. Also, this is a later scene from the trailers, and notice you can see the Fantastic Car there. So I'm pretty sure if the Fantastic Car's in the movie, the characters may appear as well. All right, so when does the first Fantastic Four movie happen? Well, it starts 6 weeks before an elemental cloud in space that Reed wants to go and explore. And he's talking to Victor Von Doom for some funding. Von Doom, shows him that, hey, you're pretty much broke, dude, and drops this magazine on the table. I'm bringing it up because I do think there's a date under the letter D in Wired, but I can't read it. I tried to zoom and enhance. It is way, way too small and blurry, but if you can read it, great. But ultimately, he does get the funding from Von Doom, and they go into outer space. Of course, they have the tragedy. They end up getting their powers, and when they come back to Earth again, Ben is out for several days. How long was I out? Hey, 3 days. So it takes a couple days for him to recover. Also, during that time, we see that there's a real issue with the IPO, which is initial public offering, for those that aren't big financial folks, of Von Doom's company. It's gonna have issues, and they're telling him you have a week to fix it. So a little bit of time, again, is transpiring after they come back from space. And then we get this Business Week magazine. So I'm going to talk more about it in a second, but in front of it is a People magazine with some funny Easter eggs. Notice it says, exclusive, James Marsden eyes next superhero role. Of course, he plays Cyclops in the X-Men movies, so that's funny. Eyes next role. And then the Mystique of Rebecca Romijn. And Rebecca plays Mystique. So since Fox Studios did both the X-Men and Fantastic Four, this is a clever little wink and a nod to those actors and referencing the movie. I like that. All right, but as for the Business Week, you can buy it online. It's a prop. And one of the things that you can see online is there's a little bit about the article. And of course, he's having trouble with his IPO. Remember, we saw that. But here's the real key. It says that the article is being written during early summer. So doesn't give us a year, but early summer, maybe. We'll talk a little bit more about why I think it might be midsummer and not early summer, but still, that's helpful. Then we learn the IPO is indeed in trouble. How's the IPO now, he asked. It's fallen. And then eventually they have to call it off. So it stays private instead of going public, which again means, a week, several days have gone by since that accident in space. I'm only bringing this up because it's going to get referenced in the second Fantastic Four movie, but notice Reed is a teenager in 1984. And so this little Easter egg is going to come back in the second movie and really fits well. I'm quite impressed. All right, so here's our first very helpful date. Reed plans to reverse the accident, and he has these plans that he's laid out. And notice there's a date down here, very blurry, but if you zoom and enhance it, it sure looks like 8/14 of '04. The month is the hardest to figure out. The rest looks like definitely the 14th in '04. But August of 2004 is going to work very well for the placement of this movie. All right, so then they talk about the fact that the infection that Von Doom had in space could take 2 to 3 weeks to fully complete. And sure enough, it does fully complete. So I do think we have a couple weeks that go by after their accident in space. This is the only date that really has a problem. So we see a New York Post there, and it's very, very blurry. But once again, it's a prop, and you can buy it. So if we look at the prop online, you can see that it says September of 2005. So I really do think it's 2004, not 2005, and I think September is too late. And we're going to see why. Because this is, to me, the biggest timeline hint. This box of cornflakes is from the August 2004 Summer Olympics. In fact, here's a bigger picture. It's a real box that came out IRL. So that would put us, I think, in August of 2004. Granted, Reed doesn't clean stuff up for a while and probably could have an old box of cornflakes sitting out. But still, I think this is a good indicator we're in August. And then this is even more so. Johnny is watching the X Games on TV, and those took place August 4th through 8th in 2004. So I'm going to throw out that 2005 date. It was really blurry, hard to read anyway, and I'm going to stick with August of 2004. So because, remember, the initial cloud was 6 weeks in the past, before they went into space, I'm going to go with July to August of 2004. As always, let me know your thoughts. Okay, now we move to Rise of the Silver Surfer. They don't give us a lot in this movie, to be honest. We do know that they've tried to get married 4 times, so some time has gone by since the first movie. We also get this newspaper with, in the upper corner, a date of 2007, so that's very helpful. And then, I know I say they don't give us a lot, but they give us exactly what we need, because down here we get Saturday the 18th for their wedding, which, by the way, works in 2007, which was the date on the newspaper. So yeah, it is looking a ton like August of 2007, right? So then here we are with them trying to get married, and of course this one has a disaster happen, so they have to call the wedding off and try it a 5th time, which we'll see in a moment. Then I'm just bringing this up because I thought this worked out really well. So the Army dudes are making fun of Reed Richards, saying, I guess you never played football in high school, because they make a football analogy. And Reed says, no, you're right. I stayed in school and studied like a good little nerd. And 15 years later, I'm one of the greatest minds in the 21st century. So why do I think that works really well? Remember, it's 2007, right? Well, that article from before said he was a teenager in 1984. So if he's in high school then, and you add 4 years of college, post-grad, and then add 15, you get 2007. So I'll give him credit. I think that works really well. So everything has fit perfectly for an August of 2007 date. Here they are then with their 5th attempt at the wedding. Are you up for another media circus wedding? And they say, no. The 5th time's a charm, yes, but no, we're not going to do a media circus. Instead, we're going to go have this quiet, peaceful wedding where no one knows what's going on, and yet still they do have problems at the last minute. He gets an emergency call, and they have to skip to the very end of the wedding. Come on, get to the end so we can get married and call it done. So kind of funny. I really enjoyed all their attempts at trying to get married in the movie. All right, so we're going to go with August of 2007 for Rise of the Silver Surfer. How about the Fantastic Four movie from 2015? Well, we start with Reed in grade school in 2007. And that's him there giving his presentation. I'm mentioning this because this whole plot throughout the whole movie is very important, because he says, I want to be the first person in human history to teleport himself. And actually his teleportation device that he comes up with lets them go actually to a different system, a different universe. Pretty cool. We also see that Ben is in grade school in 2007 with Reed. And this is really funny. This might be one of the most hilarious mistakes, timeline-wise, I've seen in a movie. So later in the movie, they give us Ben's his date of birth. and it's very clear. It's not. It's on screen for long enough that you can see it, and it's 86. Really? He was born in 86, but he's in grade school in 2007. Man, dude ages really slowly. Too funny. Too funny. Oh, well, nice trying, guys. Thanks for trying. But yeah, didn't work. On the other hand, while that was a big mistake, this is really cool. So in this same 2007 flashback, Reed's father is watching an actual college game. This is UConn versus Virginia. Notice the score, 16-17. It's a hugely famous game that took place in October of 2007. Notice the score, 17-16. And notice there's only 27 seconds left. So they did end up losing this game. How they can screw up Ben's age so badly, yet get this exact moment is beyond me. But this is important because his dad's watching this game when Reed tries to do his teleportation device and shuts off the power in the entire city. So yeah, kind of wild to have a big mistake and then to have this really, really cool and specific timeline reference. So I'm going to stick with October because I don't actually see any other months that they clearly give us through the rest of this movie. So October, right? Keep that in mind. We jump 7 years later. So I'm going to say it's still October, but now we're in 2014. Reed and Ben are at a high school science fair. So they're still in high school. And notice this is where they meet Sue, who's on the left, and Sue's father, Franklin, from the Baxter Foundation. And they want to bring Reed in because of his teleportation device. Okay, great. They use that teleportation device to go to a different universe and sure enough have their accident and get their powers. After that, we jump 1 more year forward. So again, I'm going to stick with October because they don't tell us any different. And notice here, they even say his combat effectiveness, referring to Ben, this past year has been unprecedented because the government is basically using Ben to go out and do combat with enticing him if we may be able to fix so that you go back to being normal again if you work with us. And then pretty much that's the rest of the movie. They go to some final battles, etc., but there's really no other timeline clues. But I do like the ending where they're like, hey, because we're a team now and there's 4 of us, and of course, boom, they stamp Fantastic Four. So I think things move pretty quickly after they all come together, but they do have to search for Reed for a while before they all, join back together. So I'm going to go with October to November of 2015 for the main part of the movie. But I don't know. Tell me your thoughts if you have a different opinion. It's just very, very hard to land on a month for this movie. All right. So now we go to the Punisher movies, in particular the Thomas Jane Punisher movies, because they have done several Punisher movies. These 2 movies, though, so the one on the left is an actual movie that came out in theaters. The one on the right is kind of a fan-made / Thomas Jane-made movie. You can watch it online. Punisher Dirty Laundry. You might Google for this on YouTube. 33 million views. So yeah, it's definitely a popular video. It's only 10 minutes long, but it was a fun watch. So I'm going to cover both of them as we look at their timelines. Okay, so why would you want to watch these movies? Well, this fella here, that you can see just to the left of his bigger image, that I believe is the Russian. So the Russian is a villain in Thomas Jane's movie, and obviously looks very different hair, no beard, but that candy striped shirt and the blue jeans. It's got to be, and he's a big builder, right? Big muscle builder. So it's got to be the Russian. It's just got to be. So again, if the Russian is showing up, one of the villains, then maybe we get Thomas Jane in the movie. That would be awesome, or at least some reference to his movie. And then, of course, in Thomas Jane's movie, that's just where I'm calling him the Russian because they say, call the Russian. And that's the dude that comes in to fight him. So, all right, you might want to check this out, if nothing else, to see him. It's a really good fight, I thought. One of the best parts of the movie, honestly. All right, so timeline hints. So we see this newspaper that mentions FSU, Florida State University, playing football. So you would think the movie's got to be therefore during the football season. Of course, sometimes the newspaper's old and just sitting on a desk, but we'll go with the fact that we're sometime during football season. All right, then we get the gravestones from when Frank and his family are killed. Of course, Frank doesn't really die. They just think he did. But man, look at it. How clear is that, right? Marvel likes to hide gravestones all the time. They're just front and center, 2003, making it crystal clear. So, okay, we have the year now, 2003. We know he lives in Tampa, Florida. Because notice now when he comes back, they say he's back again. I'm bringing up that reference because remember FSU, the Florida State University, so he's definitely in Florida. But also, we see these film festivals going on with some international films. You can see the title is it definitely an international film. But I think this isn't a one-time festival because it's every Thursday that the wife of one of the main villains goes to see these movies because here she is seeing a different movie on a different Thursday. So at first I thought maybe this was part of a Tampa International Film Festival, which is in April of 2004. You can see down there at the bottom. But notice the address, it was at the University of Tampa. So, and these theaters, these are obviously movie theaters, not the University of Tampa. So I just think this is something happening every weekend. And it would make sense in Tampa that they would have foreign films like this. All right, so that doesn't really help us, is my point. This, though, is very helpful. He begins his revenge for his family being killed 5 months later. He says, it's been 5 months since my family was killed. Okay, so maybe we're still in 2003, maybe we're not, but we know it's 5 months after they were killed. Then this is really helpful. They reference Thanksgiving, and she says, I know, by the way, that is Mystique, that is Rebecca Roman, not playing her character from the X-Men, I promise. But it was really cool to see her again. I think she's a fantastic actress. Anyway, she says, I know it's not Thanksgiving, but I'd like us all to say what we're thankful for. So it's not yet Thanksgiving is the key, but they're bringing it up. But I think what really crystallizes when this is happening is they basically tell us September 5th was last Thursday. And by the way, that's the Thursday that his wife... that's John Travolta, by the way. A lot of famous actors in this movie. But his wife was at the movie theater. So September 5th. Now, unfortunately, the only time there's a Thursday, September 5th, is 2002. But we know that Frank Castle died in 2003. So we just got to throw out the fact that they picked a time that doesn't work for a year. But since they're telling us it's September, I'm going to go with September, right? And if you put all this together, 5 months prior, because remember he said it's been 5 months since his family was killed, would put us near the end of football season. So maybe that was an older newspaper, but it kind of works. So I'm guessing we have stayed in 2003 the whole movie. Thus, I'm going to go with March to September of 2003. So the newspaper... you may have to just throw that out. But again, it might have been an older newspaper, been there for a couple months, and then that would work in a March timeframe. Best I can do, that movie had some pretty craziness in trying to figure it out. All right, so Dirty Laundry. This one gives us even less information. Again, kind of fan-made film / Thomas Jane sponsored film. It says, my child was an honor student, so seemingly it's during the school year, right? We can go with that maybe. This kid's got a backpack, probably a school backpack. And then we know it's definitely sometime after the earlier Punisher movie because they make fun of him being an old man. He didn't look that old to me, but these are a bunch of young punks that he takes care of. Oh man, it's pretty violent, but it's pretty epic. So, okay, school year and quite a while after the movie. I'm going to go with when it came out, which is July of 2012, but I'm going to move it to August because then it's during the school year. So it's better than nothing, right? Let me know your thoughts on all these. I'm trying my best. They clearly, timeline management was not their goal in these movies, but I think we can get some rough guesses, and it works pretty well. Okay, so as I've mentioned in the past, I do have a Google timeline sheet out there. Notice it's sorted by timeline month, but you can sort by anything you want. You can sort by release month if you want. Instead, you can also filter, and I bring up the filter because notice you can filter by multiversal movie, and if you do that, you get the 26 movies that are, not Spider-Man or X-Men, but otherwise probably going to show up in either Deadpool or Secret Wars. And now I have put, and notice that we do have the release month. That I know is correct because we know when stuff came out. But now I have put in for the 7 movies in this video when I believe the timeline month is. So there are a lot of others in here that I haven't done yet because I don't think they're going to show up in Deadpool. But I do think doing things like Blade, Ghost Rider, maybe Hulk, Man-Thing, I will try to revisit some of those. Let me know your thoughts if you would be interested in my trying to do timeline videos for those as well. And then, as I've mentioned in those earlier videos, I do have a list of every single thing that it has been made by Marvel. Again, that's not Spider-Man or X-Men, and there's 2 pages worth. That's from the Multiversal Watch Order video, but also on my Google Drive, I do have these images out there. So you can start checking things off the list if you want to watch some of these. So I hope this video helped. Let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see other timeline videos? Happy to do them if so. Also, don't forget, make contests, be a subscriber, leave a comment, win a book or a steel book. And then there's that membership option in case you're interested in that. And I always like to bring up the Discord. So much going on here. We have a bunch of X Monday rewatches, Multiverse and Mutant rewatches on Wednesdays, even more of them on Wednesdays, WandaVision, and then the Foxverse rewatches on Fridays. We have even more watch parties. We love to watch stuff. We have MMORPG, so much fun. Really want to get involved in that if that's your thing. And then finally, we have upcoming Marvel retrospectives. So lots going on the server, 1,300 people across the globe, conversations going on 24/7. We would love to have you be part of it. I will leave a pinned comment so you can get to the Discord server and also so you can get to the Google Drive and my timeline doc. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we'll all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, ever-changing Marvel Cinematic Universe.